Warning, if you're easily offended, triggered, or considered a snowflake by your friends, you're listening to the wrong podcast. The views and opinions you're about to hear are raw, unfiltered, and without any regard for political correctness.
I'm offended.
Shut up. Longtime friends Scott, Will, Davey, and Jay dive deep into issues that other podcasts are too scared to talk about.
No topic is off limits.
All opinions are welcome.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Unlike some other popular panel shows, you know what we're talking about. These four friends have no agenda other than to tell it like it is. This is The Big Divide.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to The Big Divide, episode 20-something. We're just ticking them off every single week in, week out. We're all showing up. welcome in. This show was put together to help culture come together. So we conceptualize this as a few friends that hang out a lot doing real estate, and we thought, you know what, maybe we should put a show on where we're talking about all that divides us, so we can actually bring the country together. So let me just do a quick round of all of our panelists here, all my brothers from other mothers. Is Will Montez out there covering Hispanic Nation?
Hispanic Nation is represented tonight. Will Montez is in the house.
The Puerto Ricans are in. All right. Is Jay Abramovitz out there? He's covering the Jewish side of the house.
I'm here and I'm fully covered. I'm fully dressed.
Yeah. You wearing underwear?
I'm wearing underwear.
You said you weren't earlier.
Well, that was earlier. You guys were shaming me. I put underwear on.
Oh, awesome. All right.
The world knows
not really. Not really.
Oh, man. Starting to show off good. All right. What about East Coast? The black man in the crew.
Well, the black man has to follow the Jewish man with no underwear on.
Did you just pull your pants off too?
No.
We were doing video before, but you could tell we opted back to audio. So stay tuned. If we can clean the show up, maybe we'll do some video here soon.
Oh my goodness!
Holy crap! Okay, all right, guys. So listen, and before we get started, let me just tell you, we all get to do what we got to do because we do real estate together. If you guys have ever been interested in doing real estate or making money right away on a business, we can help you out with. We've helped businesses, lots of it, landscaping, dry cleaners, vending machines. It don't matter. We can help people do business, but more importantly, we can help you invest in real estate. So if you've ever been interested in that, go to bigdivideshow.com and let us know you're interested. We will personally let you know exactly how we've helped. I've helped over 15,000 people get started. So it's been a lot of fun. And everybody on the line with us is actually some folks that have either seen a webinar that I did or a meeting, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody got started the same way. All right. So if you'd like the help that these guys have gotten or I've gotten, then contact us through bigdivideshow.com. We'll help you out. All right. You guys ready?
I'm ready. I'm psyched.
That's good.
Okay, let's go. We're gonna do mailbag first. So as we always do, because we love our audience more than we love ourselves. So starting with Tamiko Humphreys. Is that that's your friend right there, Deeves?
Yeah, right out of Maryland.
Tamiko. How long have you known Tamiko?
We just met actually.
Oh, okay. So let's read the mail. So here's the message. This America, speak English. That's it with the exclamation point. Yeah. And this is her or him. I don't know if it's her or him.
It's her. Yeah.
That's a her. Okay. Is America turning into a bilingual country, and should speaking English be a requirement to be in this country? Should the non-English speaking population be permitted to work in the country if they can't properly communicate? Should companies be required to provide English to speakers of other languages, ESOL, class to non? Should employers have classes or provide classes? I say, let's do speed run. I say no, man. Listen. There's lots of folks in this country that can't speak English, but, I'm not holding against them. We'll figure out how to communicate. Sign language, eyes, food. Anybody else?
Yeah, Tamika, listen, America is a bilingual country, if you haven't been paying attention. And no, I don't think you should have to speak English to work in this country. That should be up to the employer. By the same token, I don't think it should be the responsibility of the employer to provide English language training, but they certainly can if they want to. Two side notes on a personal note. If I were to move to a foreign country, I would certainly want to learn the local language for my own benefit and comfort, probably my own safety as well. And two, I would like to see English be established as the official language of the United States. It's part of our heritage and our culture. And although our country is changing, I would like to see our culture preserved.
I think I believe that yes, we are bilingual. We should be multilingual because we got multi people here. I believe that English should not be the only language that's taught in our schools, starting with elementary school. So, but I don't believe that people who cannot speak English should be prevented from working here. So I say that America should be adjusting and we have more languages being taught so we can solve that problem.
My mom's 90 years old, understood English, doesn't speak it. She's got Alzheimer's right now. In my generation, first born here, we started off with Spanish in school. We learned English. And now my son and my friends' kids are no longer speaking the language. They speak 100% English. So I believe everybody that flocks over here comes with their different language from their countries, but eventually it dwindles down. So we're bilingual, so be it.
Yeah, I don't think anything should be forced like that. Okay, second. Okay, we got a mailbag from. She's keeping her streak alive. What do you think,
Laura.
Queen, we should say Queen Laura.
Queen of mailbag. Yep. Climate change. Yes, it has been happening since the dawn of time. My question for you is: do you think that humans have a role in it? Emissions, oil consumption, deforestation, farming. What role does behavior play in it? I say yes. Climate's been changing since the Big Bang. And yes, because we are part of that evolution of the Earth, I definitely believe that changing resources or like you said, deforestation. I think it all affects the climate. So I'm going to just say yes. I agree.
I second the motion. It does.
Well, Laura, I think you've asked the $64,000 question. Even though the political left claims it's settled science, it's anything but. There's a very large body of qualified scientists that either aren't sure or flat out claim that human activity is not having anywhere near the impact the left would have you believe. I'm simply not qualified to make that determination, but I'm extremely skeptical that human activity is destroying the planet. I believe the planet will self-destruct when Mother Nature or God determines that it's time. I'm not even sure humankind has the capacity to destroy the planet. All the available science right now indicates that the Earth will be destroyed in due course, just as we live out each of our own lives and move inevitably and inextricably toward our own unavoidable deaths, so will Earth suffer the same fate.
Wow. What Jay said. No, I don't know.
There you go.
Well, yeah.
Jay's on the road today.
Even if I didn't agree with it, I'm like, all right, what Jay said, because that was a lot.
I'm fired up tonight.
Yeah, listen, let me just add something to it since DV's going with that.
I wasn't. I just wanted to.
Okay.
I think it's an even balance, right? I think we play a role and then not so significant. So I think it is an even balance. Definitely, God has all say so. So yeah.
Okay, so you asked this simple question. I go with the Spock answer. Yes, I believe that everything that's ever been on the Earth has affected everything, like the butterfly effect. Now, to what degree do I think that the sun has a bigger play than humans in what's going on in whatever happened? Absolutely, for sure, man. Well, the reason we're the third rock from we're like the Garden of Eden planet is because we're in the perfect spot away from the sun, not too far, not too close. And I think sun has way more effect on us, whether it be electromagnetics, whether it be the radiation, than a human will ever have, for sure. And asteroids, not to mention, taking out large swaths of lizards.
Super volcano.
65,
Come on.
65 million years ago.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Next question. Here we go. So Sean Lilly's in the house again. He recouped.
Back.
Here we go. Don't worry, Scott. You're not only the white nerd. I knew exactly what the movie Earwigs was from. Okay, so that was from last week's Star Trek. What is your go-to dessert? Mine is apple pie and a scoop of vanilla ice cream. I'm right now. I'm into me personally. I'm into Ben and Jerry's half baked, dude. I like twice a week. I'm going to 7-Eleven right by the house and picking it up. It's so good.
I like tiramisu.
Tiramisu, yeah. I hate tiramisu. I can't stand it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Let's see if we can get you into some therapy.
You know what? I'm gonna go backtrack. Even though I'm eating a lot of half baked right now, if I can get a good key lime pie, that is my favorite. If there's one more dessert, I had one more dessert to eat on Earth, it would be a key lime pie.
Either way it goes.
I like Grammy's.
It's starting the show, Scott.
Grammy's apple pie. It's awesome. Scott, she makes the best.
Okay.
Go to dessert. Wow. Pecan pies.
Pecan
Pecan
pie. All right. Yeah. Okay, that's the mailbag today. All right, so here's how this is going to work and how our shows go. Hey, listen, by the way, let's just go with some news that happened today. I don't know how you guys feel about it or yesterday. Rush Limbaugh passed away.
Yeah, I saw that.
He went to the big radio station in the sky. Big old Rush. Yeah, so I was a big fan of Rush. I don't know if you guys were, but I enjoyed the way that guy had fun with politics, right? A lot of people they took him too seriously. I never took Rush too seriously. It was a lot of fun to listen to that show. I don't know how you guys feel.
I was a huge Rush fan, and I will miss him. He was great to listen to, and I went over 30 years. I went in and out of listening, but I'll tell you this: my recollection of hearing him for the first time was driving down the highway down I-65, and I stumbled across him on the radio, and this guy was talking about things that I had been thinking about, but he articulated them in a way that I had never been able to articulate before, and that was my strong attraction to him, and he maintained that over 30 years, and he was a treasure. I will say this, and I know you don't want to dwell on this, but I think it's rather sad the way the left-wing media is talking about him today. It shows no class whatsoever. They're tearing away at him. Why can't they just say he was a radio icon?
Yeah.
And God bless his family, if that's all you can say, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I wasn't even a fan, never listened to his show at all. But I mean, anytime someone passes on, I mean, death is a part of life, but you don't want to, talk bad about someone. I mean, wish his family well, you pray for him. And I haven't watched the news, so I don't know what they're saying about him at all. But I wasn't a fan, but you don't talk ill about someone when they pass away.
Yeah, exactly.
When he received at State of Union, the Medal of Freedom, they didn't stand for him, and it's a shame, they don't, no accountability whatsoever. And these are the people that represent the American people, which is it's classless. It's really classless. I got into Rush due to Scott, and we were on the road traveling, listening to that guy. He was awesome. And, he loved the country and he shared it, and Tucker, Hannity, Ingram last night, their shows were just great, and it gives you a tribute. He lived his life and he was a leader for millions of people. Rest in peace. God bless you.
All right, let's get into topics. Here's how this is going to go. So the producer, Tristan, has figured out how much time we got per topic, and he'll adjust as we go along. We got so much time for each topic. When there's 1 minute left, you're going to hear the dinner bell. And then when it's time to go to the corners, you're going to hear the boxing bell. All right, anybody want to go first?
I'm ready.
Go, chosen one. Go.
All right. Okay. I find it interesting that the theme of the Democrats' impeachment prosecution was the big lie, in quotes. Remember, they had that very title slide up on their PowerPoint during the impeachment process. And I think it's incredibly ironic. Now, people may not know this, but the theory and the technique of the big lie originates right out of Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf. And Hitler believed that the masses were easily corrupted because they'd buy into an emotional appeal more easily than an intellectual argument. And because they themselves, the masses, would tell small lies, but they'd be ashamed to tell big lies. And for that reason, they wouldn't believe that other people would tell big lies. Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's Reich Minister of Propaganda, put it very succinctly. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. Now, get a load of this, because I was poking around a little bit just to get my facts right, and I came across something I couldn't believe. Now, tell me if this sounds eerily familiar. This is the psychological profile of Adolf Hitler developed by the OSS in 1941. That's the precursor to the CIA. This is their psych profile on Adolf Hitler. Quote, Hitler's primary rules were never allow the public to cool off, never admit a fault or wrong, never concede that there may be some good in your enemy, never leave room for alternatives, never accept blame, concentrate on one enemy at a time and blame him for everything that goes wrong, and people will believe a big lie sooner than a little one, and if you repeat it frequently enough, people will sooner or later believe it. Does that sound like the Democrats today?
It sounds like Schumer and Pelosi.
I'm telling you. All right. Okay. Hey, hang on. Now, the big lie the Dems were referring to in the impeachment trial was and I put this in quote, the lie of election fraud. But I see a number of big lies being put forth simultaneously, or maybe they're all part of one big lie. You tell me. And remember, the big lie is designed to unite people around a scapegoat or a boogeyman. Here are some of the lies that I see going on right now. Insurrection, the militarization of Washington, D.C., white supremacy, mostly peaceful protests, racism, Russia hoax, 2 impeachments, hunting young black men down in the streets, climate change, green energy, and the virus, or at the very least, the response to the virus. So, gentlemen, what say you? What's going on here?
It's a lot to unpack there, dude. The last part where you were reading off these the lies, is that something a list you made?
Yeah, that's my perception. These are the lies that I see going on.
Well, I'm gonna just take it down to, you started with the impeachment. So the big lie is election fraud. There's a big lie because even the left wing media is perpetuating that. Look, I'm not satisfied. I mean, I saw videos of people pulling out ballots. I saw videos of them covering up with cardboard. We know that. I saw spikes that were mathematical anomalies. There are certain things that happen in swing states. And here's the other thing: you don't win as many counties as Trump did. He won more counties than anybody else, but Reagan reelect. And Biden lost more counties than anybody else. I mean, you've got to look into these mathematical anomalies. You can't. It's not a lie if you believe. If you believe that there was fraud, then you believe it. You can't lie about what you believe. Does that make sense?
I hear you.
Right? I mean, I can't lie that I believe it. I can't lie about Sasquatch, that I believe in Sasquatch, because I believe in Sasquatch. I'm not lying to you that I believe in Sasquatch. And Trump's not lying that he believes that there was election fraud. I believe there was election fraud. So the problem is that from the time that they called it that Friday after the election, after Tuesday, they've said, okay, we're the media, we called it, we're the end all be all, and that's what it is.
Listen, I'm pointing out the techniques. I'm not even debating the lies or truths of these things. Look at the techniques. They're identical in each one of the things that I rattled off here, and they're identical to the Hitlerian techniques. And I want to be clear, I'm not calling the Democrats Hitler. I'm not doing that. I'm merely pointing out the techniques of propaganda and pushing up and holding up a lie, something to be a lie. I personally believe every single one of those things I read off is a lie in one fashion or another.
Well, Mark Levine pointed it out. They want to destroy the Constitution, and they're using Bernie Sanders, his Constitution, which is a page out of the Russian Constitution, and that's what's going on here. And they're being funded by George Soros, and all these big liars are. It's a big force, right? The deep state. They want to destroy America. And you're absolutely correct, Jay. We can see it going on. If you look at the Lincoln Project, Andrew Cuomo, COVID, Kamala, anything in her interview, she fumbles. They're moving the goalpost. Biden, throwing his press secretary. No, that's not what we want to do. They can't get it right because it's a lie. It's all a lie. And that's why they're protecting themselves in Washington, D.C. behind the military. They know they did not win. They know they committed fraud. Everybody knows it. The Republicans, the Democrats, and the world. They can see it.
I have friends that are admitting that now that it's all they're like, well, it was for the good. Even the Times article, right? Was it Time the magazine? They had an article on the big cabal and they saved America by rigging the elections through the media, through the elites, right? Through the corporations, through big tech. They actually applauded. That article was applauding what they did to rig the election.
They laid out the strategy in that article.
Laid the strategy out in that article, for sure. So now they're admitting that they did it. And they just in our face, see, hey, listen, you be quiet, Jay. We did good for the country by making sure that this all occurred the way that we engineered it.
I think there's a tie-in to all these things. I think this is the big distraction to push through a political agenda.
And that's what it is. The impeachment is a distraction.
DV, you're awfully quiet on this. Any thoughts on this?
I was going to let you guys go with it. So one, like you say, if you tell a lie long enough, people start believing. I could say that on the other side too as well. I think you're hearing when Trump was talking about, election was stolen. You tell that enough times, people start believing it too. So I think it could be on both sides. And because my thing is this, I'm here listen to you all. It can't be just the Democrats who would get away. What were the Republicans if they believed that this was if it was stolen? And I'm not saying whether it was or wasn't, but where are they to fight that? So, and for them to let it go, that's why I find a hard time when you all say, we know it, everybody knows it, the world knows it. Yeah, but if that's the case, then that should have been able to go to the courts, and we would still have.
It's in the courts right now, DV.
Yeah, and DV,
there are 14 cases making their way.
How about the surveillance camera in Georgia? They're pulling out ballots. You don't find that suspicious?
I'm not here to dispute or argue whether.
But that was evidence, and Georgia did not want to hear it. Right? Georgia did not want to hear it. How about the thousands of affidavits
and you're talking
from individuals?
Listen, DV, you're talking about a Republican governor and a Republican attorney general, right?
Secretary of State, I think.
Yeah. Right. So what am I saying? I'm saying, so where are the Republicans who, if they
listen, I don't give a crap what the three letters in front of them anymore. I don't care. I want 5 letters in front of it all. TRUTH. I want to know what the truth is, and they blocked everything
and
from making the courts.
And that's me too as well. But I'm just, again, I just find it hard when you all make these, especially when Will say, hey, everybody knows it and the world knows it. Okay, well then it should be easy to prove then.
Well, it is in the courts right now. It's being adjudicated. I heard today that 12 cases now were won by the Republican side. Now, it is going through the courts. You're not going to hear it widely reported. And the Supreme Court is listening to. They're going to make a decision.
They're
tomorrow,
not widely reporting. You know why they're not widely reporting it? Because
of course,
because the left wing media doesn't want it to happen, and the right wing media is scared to bring it up. It's scary.
Hey, Davey, if I was running against you for high school prom king, and if I won illegal, and you would claim you're the victor, I would say, you know what? Let's look at the ballots. Let's look at the count. They didn't want to show
there would be
anything.
No question. You would have lost. It would have been no.
Okay, no problem. Okay,
but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I would have lost or not. My point is, DV, right? They're not transparent.
DV,
they're not transparent. In Arizona, the legislature voted to see and audit the software system, and they made a subpoena on that. They did not follow that subpoena. They didn't care. They go, no, you're not going to see this. They don't own the machines. The machines are owned by us, the citizens, the taxpayers, and they're not transparent. There's not one Democratic that said, you know what? Let's be transparent on this. Let's show them the evidence. Let's prove that we won. They all stood silent. They all stood silent.
Hey, let me have
Right?
Davey. Davey's about to have an experience. All right, so you and Willie are up against each other in prom, King, right? And you just said there's no way he'd win, right? And then all of a sudden it's announced that Willie won, and everybody that you know in the school, like, dude, how'd that happen? And then they say, well, you can't see the ballots. We're just going to call him the winner. What would you say?
Yeah, you have to look into it.
Yeah, then nobody looked into the ballots. They can't produce them. They got shredded, right? So this is my problem with it all. Like you guys are, well, the big lie is that there was no election fraud. Well, there's definitely fraud because they won't even show us the ballots. They won't even go through it. They won't even, the courts won't even hear it. And that's my take. All right, so the boxing bell has rung a long time ago. All right, I got a topic here. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have some fun with this one. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Okay, so I got this. I listened to this clip of Ben Shapiro, credit Ben Shapiro. So let's start the clip and then it'll end, and we're gonna have a little fun. Hit it, Tristan.
Here are the 8 white identities, according to Barnor Hess. He says, 1, white supremacists, right? These are the worst people. And this is what all of American society is. Clearly marked white society that preserves, names, and values white superiority. That makes it, you're a white supremacist, okay?
Okay. Does anybody know somebody that fits into that category? These are 8 different categories of being white. That's now being disseminated in the schools in New York, by the way. They're teaching this in New York schools, right? To say, hey, how to identify different variances of white people. Right? So the first one, can you play that again, Tristan, just so that now these guys know? Play that first one again.
Here are the 8 white identities, according to Barnor Hess. He says, 1, white supremacists, right? These are the worst people. And this is what all of American society is. Clearly marked white society that preserves, names, and values white superiority. That makes it, you're a white supremacist, okay?
Okay. Do you guys know anybody like that you would classify a white supremacist?
I don't think I do.
I don't. I mean, I don't associate with people that would be like, yeah, we the best. Anybody else on the line here?
When I was growing up, the C-Notes, the gang I grew up in, Chicago
Okay,
Neighborhood
C-Notes.
Organization to Eliminate Spics. You don't see that no more.
DV?
KKK.
But you don't hang around people. It's like you can't have like a first. You don't know somebody like you say their first and last name and they are that. You've experienced that?
Not one person.
No, I'm talking about DV. I mean, I don't know anybody like that.
I'm speaking on DV's behalf.
No, you're not.
The prom.
Let DV.
He's still mad over the prom.
Deez, have you experienced somebody that's an absolute? They just could not stand you in front of them. Yet you hated you for their skin color.
Yeah,
Growing
actually.
Don't say their
up,
name.
or
You don't have to say their name. Just say yes. You
Okay.
have met people.
yes, I have. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to tier 2. So that's the extreme. That's the red side of the new curriculum that's being taught in the schools in New York. Go hit the second one.
2nd, white voyeurism. Wouldn't challenge a white supremacist, desires non-whiteness because it's interesting and pleasurable, seeks to control the consumption and appropriation of non-whiteness, fascination with culture. Example, consuming black culture without the burden of blackness. So if you listen to rap but you're white, this means that you're probably a white voyeurist. You're a white voyeur, right? You're not a white supremacist, but you're kind of white supremacist adjacent because you're like a white supremacist in that you like all the structures of power, but you also like listening to rap music.
All right. This is being taught in schools now, guys. This is part of the curriculum. They want to make it mainstream around the country just to kind of identify all your friends and categorize them, any of the white friends. So, anybody know anybody like that? White voyeurism.
Yeah, I think I do.
Who?
No, I'm not naming them. You're not getting me there. I know people like that. Yeah.
Well,
I guess the closest, if you, I mean,
we got to deprogram them then. Go.
Well, I hear you, but I know them.
All right, DV, go ahead.
I'm just, I guess first person came to mind for me was Eminem. If you naming someone.
So you're saying that Eminem's a white voyeur?
No, I'm not. I'm just thinking based off of what he's saying. He's talking about how he likes.
No. See, you have to understand that he's not saying it. He's reading the new curriculum in New York. This is This is stuff that's being taught in New York schools, guys.
Okay.
Willie, you know anybody that's a white voyeur?
No.
Okay, let's go. We're going from the extreme right down to being left. Go.
Then there's white privilege. Maybe you critique supremacy, but a deep investment in questions of fairness and equality under normalization of whiteness and the white rule, sworn goal of diversity. So now, if you say that you like diversity, but you also believe in things like fairness and equality on an individual level, this means that you are suffering from white privilege. Because, of course, the entire system is white. And so if you say that you want everybody to be treated equally on an individual level, this means you're upholding a system that has been supremacist in the past and is supremacist today. So you're actually just privileged.
All right. So now this gets interesting because now they're saying that if you think that individuals achieve something, that you believe in the individual, not the group, then you are categorized as white privilege.
Well, that would describe me, but I think
that describes me. I'm a coach, right? Like I'm like, dude, you can be anything you want to be. But what they're saying is, and this is again being taught in schools, is that here's the problem. It's an inequity thing, right? Hey, listen, everybody should have an equal outcome versus an equal start. Does that make sense? Or
this is
crazy,
what Jay
man.
said. It's all propaganda. This is another lie. It's just laughable now. But it's so dangerous what's going on in America. And it's happening in these blue
because you're
states.
Influencing kids I can't
God.
Mason at 10 years old coming home going, Daddy, am I a white privileged? What am I? I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
what? Deeves, any ideas? Any comments?
No, honestly, I'm a little lost on this. Is what I know he's reporting, but you're saying this is what's been taught in the New York.
This is what's going on.
This is a curriculum that is now being taught.
Identify people who are white that either are racist or they're white privileged. Is that?
Yeah, there's 8 categories. We've gone through 3 categories, and we're going through different. So when you meet white people, you get to categorize them as something so that you can deal with them.
I don't think it's just that simple. Like okay, maybe that's
But
your
they're
point,
making it that simple, DV. That's
But
the
you
problem.
understand that I'm bringing this up because it's now being taught, and that's why he's reporting on it.
Okay.
Right?
I think 3 would be simple. 8 is not simple.
Okay, let's go. Let's hit the next one. Let's go.
4th level. This is all cult crap, by the way. This is just cultic nonsense. 4th level. Okay, now we are rising. So we went from the worst and we're moving toward the best. Get ready for it, gang. 4, white benefit. You're sympathetic to a set of issues, but only privately. You won't speak or act in solidarity publicly because benefiting through whiteness in public. Some people of color are in this category as well. So this would be like Candace Owens. So if you're a black person, but you don't speak in or act in solidarity with whiteness in public, or against whiteness in public, this means that you're of white benefit. Actually, according to these folks, Candace is probably a white supremacist, maybe a white voyeurist. The same thing for Shelby Steele. A white benefit person is a person who is actually a Black Lives Matter sympathizer, but doesn't speak out very loudly about it.
Okay, so you're supposed to. It's almost like. Remember that show? Remember the Invasion of the Body Snatchers at the end, where you're trying to find out who, and they like screaming.
Yes.
Right? Like
that's what we're coming to.
They are setting up society to call people out. And listen, all these are 8 different categories, but there's only one they really want to matter. Does that make sense? Now, all other 7 are supposed to be called out and then corrected. So, anybody any comments on this yet? Anybody want to? And listen, we'll just keep going through them. If you guys want to say something, I'll just pause and wait.
Well, I'm guessing that number 4 probably represents, most white people.
White benefits.
Yeah. I mean, by their standards. I don't buy into any of this.
All right, let's listen to the next one. Let's keep going through this.
Then there's white confessional. Okay, white confessional is some exposure of whiteness takes place, but as a way of being accountable to people of color after. You're seeking validation from people of color. Okay, so this is all the people who marched in the Black Lives Matter protests but are white, right? Who posted a black square on Instagram. You're a white confessional because you can see your own whiteness, but you're only seeking validation from people of color. Now, you might think to yourself, okay, like that should be about as radical as it gets here. You're basically saying that the system, you're conceding all the points. Don't worry, there's more.
So now you get to be so hey, can you imagine teaching this and then having an exercise in class where all the white kids stand up and like they give their views? You got to categorize them. Oh, keep going, Tristan. Hit the next one. Let's go. Let's just finish this one up.
White critical. Now we're getting to the people who are we're reaching saintly levels of anti-whiteness. White critical. You take on board critiques of whiteness and invest in exposing or marking the white regime. You refuse to be complicit with the regime. Whiteness speaking back to whiteness. This is white people telling other white people that they are too white. Because whitey McWhite white. McWhite white.
All right, wait a minute. Something interesting just happened because last week we kind of talked about black folks telling other black folks that we're not good enough. We're not, and now it's turned around. Now it's actually it's a good thing to tell white people that they're too white. Right? It's not good to be white. That's what it's coming down to. The fall the way.
That is exactly where this is going.
It's exactly where it's going, right? Like they just.
And I don't think anybody's telling white people it's not good to be white.
Oh yeah, DV.
Oh my
this is
God, DV.
This is shaming the white race.
This is
Come
shaming
on.
white people.
No.
You understand? This is being taught in New York now. This is part of the curriculum.
That they're saying, hey, it's not good to be white. You're not because okay. All right.
Yes, they're pointing out what they believe to be an inherent evilness in being white.
Exactly.
That's what this is.
But here's my point. Going back to Jay, what you said, the lies and the Republican know, the Republican voter, they know that it's all a lie. It's the Democrats, the liberals, those types of voters that are completely ill-informed. They don't understand what's actually going on.
And this is DV. DV's like, this is being taught. Come on, boys. That's it, right? Like,
hey, Will, you might be a little unfair in that. I would go so far as to say it's the leftist, not the liberal, and it's not all Democrats.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Did you know that there was Black Lives riots in New York City on Friday, and nobody broadcast that whatsoever?
Well, I knew that, yes, because I pay attention.
I get it, but we find out from our programs. But the United States of America, the ill-informed Democratic voter that always votes Democrat no matter who they put in there, right? They're ill-informed. So when Scott brings up this topic, this is actually going on. And when Devi says, no, it's not, that's crazy.
No, I didn't say I'm not. See, you guys are saying that stuff.
Then what are you saying,
I
Devi?
simply said no one is going around telling all white people it's not good to be white.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the school districts.
Oh my
the
God.
schools in New York are now actually categorizing white people.
It's not just New York, by the way. It's
like
not
a
just
zoo.
New York. They're pushing this through in Chicago as well.
Yeah.
In every major city.
California, Los Angeles, San Francisco.
They want to nationalize this stuff, Deeves.
Can we hear 7 and 8? I can't
going.
wait.
Let's finish this up.
Hey, finally, you can be a white traitor. You actively refuse complicity. You name what is going on. Your intention is to subvert white authority and tell the truth at whatever cost. You need them to dismantle institutions.
All right, hit the last one there, Tristan. Let's finish this up.
And finally, you're a white abolitionist. This is like the highest level. You have cleansed yourself of all sin. You have purged yourself. You're full Robin DiAngelo. White abolitionist. You change institutions. You dismantle whiteness. You don't allow whiteness to reassert itself. But by the way, what's amazing about this is that you're still the one in power, right? You're the white person who's in power, and you're acting on behalf of people of color. You are now a white abolitionist. Okay, this is the crap they are teaching to school children. It's racist nonsense. There should be lawsuits on the basis of this. But get ready. This sort of stuff is going to be mainlined into American politics.
I know one person like that.
Who's that?
Joe Biden.
No, he's not. You ain't black if you ain't Joe.
Exactly.
Oh, ding, 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 just in time. All right, well, I'm just going to sum it up, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's almost like, let me tell you something. It's almost like I'm living in a sitcom. Like, this is an alternate reality that is almost like a caricature of what America that I know.
I don't think it's a sitcom, Scooty. I think you're through the looking glass here. This is dangerous stuff.
This is
This is all South Park stuff to me. I'm like, I'm laughing at these 8 things.
I have a question for you, Scott. So
but there are people. Wait a minute.
Right?
There are people that are taking this so seriously. Like, thank God this is happening. It's now balancing out. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, I can't imagine.
Here's a question I have for you, Scott. You're the white guy, right?
I'm the white guy.
You're the white guy.
I like
Do
hot
you
sauce.
feel like white people are being oppressed right now?
No, I think white people are being shamed, right? Like we got to like the white privilege thing, right? So Daniela says you're just white privilege. I'm like, what do you mean? See, when I hear somebody tell me, well, you've got white privilege, I'm like, no, I work my ass off for what I got. I mean, I got a 10,000 square foot building, I got a bunch of real estate. I worked my butt off. I didn't come from privilege. Well, you don't understand what that means. I guess not, because I had to work my ass off, right? So.
Right.
Right. So white privilege is when you walk down the street, you have a better chance of getting ahead than anybody else. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I had to pick up rocks in a field to make $5 an hour. So
but just because you had to do that doesn't mean that you don't have some privileges over another race because of the color of your skin.
And if I don't acknowledge that, what am I? Which part of the scale am I if I don't acknowledge that?
You're just oblivious to the white privilege. That's all.
Oh, I see.
You're just oblivious to it.
Can I have an opinion? Can we call that just your opinion?
You can call it whatever. Yeah.
It's just your opinion. You have an opinion that there's white privilege out there.
But here's a question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want all the white people to be able to address this.
All right.
If you got pulled over by the police, what skin color would you rather be? The white skin color or the black skin color when you get pulled over?
I'd like to be the guy that gets finished with the cop and moves on with life.
No. But you know,
but I don't see skin color. I don't see it.
Okay, you may not see skin color, but yeah. Okay, this police officer pulls you over. Which would you rather be if you had to choose? Which one would you rather be?
I can't choose anything but what I am.
Hey, Davey, I've got a question for you. I don't know whether I want to call this white privilege or not, but I will acknowledge that going through life as a white man, certainly some things were easier than if I had to go through life as a black man. I acknowledge that. I get that. What would you do to correct that today? What would your correction be?
I mean, first of all, the things that we're doing now, we're having conversations, right? We're talking about it. But, when I hear people like deny certain things, I'm like, come on. Even Sean Leader, he and I had a conversation. He was like, I think a lot of this stuff happens in the South and people in the North may not experience it to some extent that we do. So, but I think to correct it is we got to still have the conversation, acknowledge a lot of things like you just acknowledged, and then say, okay, how can we, yes, as a country, we're coming together and we're doing a lot better, but to say stuff just does not exist, I'm like,
it exists. It exists. The problem is you're saying that for some reason, Scott, you're farther ahead because you're white. I'm like, no. I grew up in a white community, and when I was my senior year in high school, a black girl entered the high school. The only black girl that we ever had in the high school entered in 1985, right? And guess how she was treated?
How she was treated?
Awesome. Nobody cared. Nobody in my school cared, right? She went to prom with a white guy at the school, Bob Olson, right?
I applaud you guys.
She was at every party with us. She went to the games. Nobody cared.
Right. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But what I'm simply saying is, look, I'm not saying that there was white supremacy. It is dominating everywhere, right? But we know stuff happens, and there are certain things. It's not like blatant racism, but it could be disguised. And then for those areas that embrace things, hell, I lived in a predominantly white neighborhood, but it was a little bit mixture, and we all lived in harmony. But there was still some things that happened in that neighborhood. We'd be like, oh, that was real racist. So I mean,
yeah, don't get me wrong. I've experienced. Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this on air. This is going to be the worst thing you're going to hear me ever say on this show. You ready?
Go ahead.
You ready? You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Somebody tell me ready. All right, I got to say this because it was racist. And I remember this as a little kid. My grandmother lived in Joliet, on the east side of Joliet, right, where it was diverse in Joliet. That's where I was born, in Joliet, right? And this is probably one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. And I didn't know. I had no idea right? But she, in the neighborhood, there's black children playing on the street, and she goes, look at the jigaboos.
Mm-hmm.
That's racist,
Yeah.
right? So it ain't like I've experienced racist, but it doesn't mean that I am racist, right? Even though my grandmother grew up in a time that was much different than when I grew up. We all grew up in a different time than the older folks.
Let's not confuse racist and white privilege. Those,
okay,
they're not the same.
Okay. Well, in my world, if you say, here's something. If somebody says, well, the reason you have what you have is when somebody says white privilege, I'm like, no. You understand that degrades what I've had to work hard for. When somebody called me,
I just think you have a misunderstanding of what white privilege is.
All right, so no problem.
That's it. I think you just.
Then what do you mean?
I don't believe
it
exists. How's that?
What's your definition of white privilege?
Okay. I mean, we can talk about institution things like, certain jobs, positions are given to white people over black people. Like there's a study says, hey, even your names if they see black names, then for applying for jobs, you don't get it. But the same person with a white sounding name, they will get jobs or interviews and whatever.
Hey, so Davey, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If you see a show and it has an all white cast or like a news show, it's all white. If it's a TV show, it's all white. Do you think something of that?
Yeah.
What are you saying internally?
I mean, I'm seeing all these white images.
Okay, no problem. Okay, here's another question. Another question for you. So if there's 10 people on this show, or let's say there's how many head coaches in the NFL, how many should be white and how many should be black?
Mm-hmm. What are you saying? Oh, how many to be
I mean, based on the NFL today, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many 18 teams, right? So how many white coaches should
NFL has like 28 teams.
32 teams. Okay. So how many NFL coaches out of the 32 should be white and how many should be black? How many should be Hispanic? How many should be Chinese? How many
See that's the issue though, but there's not enough diversity in there. And we could say, well, why is that? It's a deeper issue of why that. Okay, people given the opportunity to become a head coach. So I don't think it should be like you gotta, if it's 32 teams, you gotta have half to be white and half to be black or whatever.
You don't think it should be that way, right?
Should it be 13% of the coaches in the NFL are black because that's the population?
No, I don't think it should be based off of the population there. I just think
what should it be based on then?
It should be having the opportunity, right? So,
but Davey, how do you determine that? That's my point exactly. See, you say white privilege, and I say, well, okay, you got 32 coaches. If they're all white, right? Was it based on merit? See, if they're all white,
so we have to go with, why is it predominantly white coaches? Okay, are no other ethnic type coaches applying for these positions, and so that's why it's all white, or are we not given the opportunity for everybody else? See, we're not saying, hey, it has to be that. We're just saying, hey, are they?
What are you saying then?
Equal opportunity.
When does it become not white privilege? At what percentage?
We're saying if it's given, if the playing fields are even and everyone has the same equal opportunity to apply and become a head coach,
then what's it based on?
Then let that play out.
Okay, no problem. But and let's say this. What if I believe it's played out? What if I believe that merit put that? Like, I don't think there's an owner that wants to lose a football game, right? I don't think there's an owner that wants to waste money on somebody that's not better qualified than the next person.
Well, I think the Hallises do.
Anyway, the point, you guys understand the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is all right, there's 32 possibilities, right? How many should be black? How many should be Chinese? How many should be Hispanic? How many should be white? How many should be Jewish?
Hey, you're leaving out all the women, Scott. Come on.
Oh, right. Man. How many of them should be women, Davey? How many should be?
How many black presidents have we had?
Now you got to start being inclusive to everybody, right? So
No, I'm asking you. I don't have to be anything. I just say, well, I think merit should determine everything. Merit.
Right, and that's what we're saying. The merit is not being equally played out, though.
How do you know that?
Okay. How many are
How do
given
you
the
know that? I
opportunity?
mean, you're telling me I don't understand white privilege. I don't think you understand merit. Ah, okay.
No, I'm just done
You
with it
little, you
because we're
little
gonna keep
stumped?
going.
You little stumped?
No, you didn't stump me. We're just gonna keep going on and on with it, and the bell is wrong, and I'm ready to move on for something else.
We
Because it's gonna
just
keep going. We're
had
just gonna keep
our
going.
first black president in
Oh,
office.
here we go with that.
Okay, great.
Like that makes it
See,
even.
you don't want
All
to
of a
hear it.
sudden
You
that-
can dish it out, but you can't take it.
No,
That's
because
the problem right there.
No,
you can't take it. You
No, y'all
can't
say-
take
you
it. You
say
got a
that
chip
to
on
make
your
it like it's
shoulder
gonna even.
week in and week out. Week in and week out about this racism thing. You never experienced racism the way I experienced racism as a kid. They burned down my house. They burned down the neighbor next door.
So I've
Across
never
the
experienced
street.
it you because
You
I
know
didn't
what?
get a
There
house
hasn't
burned
been a
down?
Puerto Rican president. And you never heard of racism when Obama was there. His merits got him there. His merits got him there. And now it's the white man's got a problem and everything.
But here's my argument with you, Will, with that. You say that as if the first black president makes everything equal. Oh
no,
man,
I
we
don't
had
say
the
that.
first
That's
black-
your interpretation. That's your interpretation.
Every time you
America
bring
has
that
not
up, that's
been
exactly what
perfect.
you're saying.
most of us-
America has not been perfect.
Listen, most
DV.
of us aren't. We're not trying to nitpick it. I'm like, I go over these 8 things about white stuff, and I'm like, this is funny to me.
Yeah, but America has.
But some people are taking it seriously.
No, like I told you, they shouldn't be teaching this stuff in school, but
they are teaching it in school, and you're blind to
but
that.
you're saying that like that's all over the country right now. You just but at first it
No,
was
in
just
big
New York.
liberal cities, in the blue cities. That's what you don't understand. That point that Scott made about whiteism, those 8 points, that's being taught in school. That's crazy. Can you imagine there's 8 types of black people?
We taught Columbus discovered America in school, and I didn't hear nobody talking about that for a long time.
What are changing, according to the New York Times, it's 1619 Project. BS. America was founded in 1776. The revolution.
No more caffeine for Will.
But this is an interesting show, man.
I'm
All
sorry,
right.
DV, but this week in and week out, you got a chip on your shoulder. You travel the world. You're the only one that's been in the military and from all 4 of us. You have more patriotism than I had. I was very bitter as a young man. I hated the white man. I used to get into arguments with Scott Rowe because they burned down my house and I saw the violence. I got beat up by the police on a constant basis. And I'm not defined by that no more.
So I'm defined by that? Is that what you're saying?
A little
because
bit.
I come here every week and I point out certain things?
You a little bit defined by it.
Scott just answered it for you, buddy.
A little bit, dude.
Wow, just because I point out certain things that you
See,
all say doesn't
you don't
exist.
like it. You don't like truth. You don't like honesty. It hurts.
No,
right?
I
Like,
love
you don't
truth.
like it.
I like truth. You all just don't. You all want to put me in a corner every time because
Nobody's putting you in a corner. You're putting yourself in a corner and you're blaming us. That's an interpretation.
I've never blamed you. I've never blamed you, guys.
You just said we're putting you in a corner.
Stop bringing up the
put you in a
Jews.
corner.
Look, like just when
right.
Scott had made mention, hey, white people can't say white power. No, you can't say white power because you know what that means. You're saying white power. Now, can you say white pride? Yes, you can say white pride.
No, you can't say
but
that
don't
either.
confuse the two.
You can't say that either. You can't say white pride.
You can't say that.
Can't say
If
it.
when you say white power, there's some connotation behind that. There's some history behind it. But no one is saying to the white people, you can't say be proud to be white. You won't hear that from the black community.
Wait. Hold on a minute. I'm going to dispute that by replaying what you just heard me play. There's being taught in schools. There's only one spot on those 8 segments that the left wants you to be now. The abolisher. Abolish white power, right? What they see is white power. No,
And
not
I
even.
say, yes, we
hold
should
on
abolish white
a minute. They didn't even see white power. Abolish whiteness. If you are abolishing the whiteness in society, then
Whiteness
you are
and
a
white
saint.
pride are not the same. Whiteness and white pride is not the
Listen to
same.
me. Why are you trying to define anyone? Why can't we just get along? Like when Wanda walked into our high school, we're like, "What's up, woman?" And that's how we were. It was an entirely farm-filled white community school. And when she walked in,
I find it amusing when you say, "Why can't we just get along?" When we're just coming off from all of this stuff, and all of a sudden now we want to just get along. Like when you say that, why can't we just all get along? And I agree, we should all be in harmony.
Why are you bringing it up? Okay, it's funny how you're contrasting that and using. I think it's funny how you say we should all get along, and I agree we should get along, but I don't think we're getting along. Come on, dude.
Okay,
it's too complex. Like, to be honest with you. It's like reading tea leaves. Like what? And again, these 8 things I just brought up that's being taught in liberal schools and in liberal cities, right? Every 7 of them are about shaming white people. You're not good enough until you hit that 8th one where you're actually trying to abolish whiteness. That means we're trying to abolish ourselves. And ironically, last week we talked about how black people viewed themselves because white people told them that they should. Ironically.
No. And that black people don't do that. That's not what they were saying. We're saying, hey, why do you try to justify certain things by saying, oh, well, what about black on black crime?
No, we were talking about the way that black people viewed themselves.
That is what Dr. Hill said.
Right.
This is getting white people to be ashamed of themselves.
Exactly.
This doesn't go anywhere good.
It doesn't. I mean, when you're telling kids in school, well, if you're so now they got to go home and check their parents. Right? They're like, I wonder if my parents are good or bad now. I mean, they're all white.
To my point, you're saying it like black children, and I can only speak for black children. I can't speak for the Hispanic children, but for black children, for a long time, were told that you're not good enough, or your hair is not good, and all this stuff. Like, and that's why when you heard that for so many years, when we start talking about black is beautiful, black pride, it's because you were told otherwise. So now I'm hearing, oh, white people want to be able to say that, but they're being shamed. Is that how I'm hearing it? They're being shamed because they want to be able to say white pride. I'm proud to be white. Oh, but you can't say that because it's racist. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you get a taste of what was going on before that.
See, there you go. DV just justified it. Did you see that? He's like, about time. That DV's like, it's about time. Now you're feeling like we feel. And I think that's a sentiment. I think that is a complete sentiment. I think that's why I think the black folks have had it rough. Come on, man. Listen, we're coming out of slavery for sure. Tough, right? But I do think instead of coming together, I think that the black community is like, good. Just like you just said, good. It's about time you're feeling like we felt.
So you can recognize, and then we could
hold on a minute. Is that true? Is it true that you're happy that the white folks are feeling it? They're getting a taste.
No, I didn't say I was happy about it.
Come on, I want to know. I'm asking you because it sounded like you were happy about it.
I'm simply saying now you have a little sentiment of what it was like. So now if you experience it. Now you can understand, oh, you know what? That wasn't right. So, yes, let's do better. Let's all do better.
But, okay. DV,
let's get rid of white
with the
people.
sentiment. I experienced, let me say this.
Get rid of white people. No, hold on, DV. That's just like the same thing they were saying, hey, get rid of black people, right? That was wrong. Get rid of black people. No, black people are not saying, hey, get rid of white people. They're just saying, hey, the way we were treated was not correct. And we're not taking that anymore. And we're done with that.
So do you think we should put white people on the plantations to pick cotton? Because that's what happened.
Come on, dude.
200 years ago.
All right. You know what? Let's calm it down. Next week, we got to get to speed round. So next week, we didn't hear from Will's topic or DV. They get to go first. The minorities are going first next week. We're gonna put you in front of the line, and we're gonna keep the Jewish people in the back line. All right, here we go.
Yeah. It's always about the minorities, There we go again.
All right, here we go. Speed round. So we're gonna. Hey, DV, guess what?
What's that?
DV, we're going cracker speed round today. Sound good? Cracker speed round. Cracker speed round. Okay, here we go. Around the horn. Cheese. Where and who was your first kiss?
Ooh.
I'll start. It was Janice Senko in the back of the bus. We had this little Catholic school bus, and we all had our uniforms on. Right behind the back seat, she right before she got off the bus, she planted one right on my lips, and I floated home, baby.
I remember a girl, Chastity, and it was about fourth grade. I think I remember was Chastity.
Okay.
I can't remember.
That's I was 8 when it happened for me, so about the same time. Yeah. Willie?
I can't even remember her name. I know who she is, and I cannot remember her name.
Wasn't it your wife, Nancy?
It was Nancy.
No, it was not my wife, Nancy. I didn't meet my wife until I was 20.
And where was it? Where was it? Mine was the back of the bus. Where was yours?
Mine was in my bedroom.
In your bedroom? Ooh, DV, where was yours?
At school. It was
at school. Willie,
What
was his name and where did it happen?
Yeah, what was his name?
No. Teresa, I was like 7, 8 years old, and my mom moved from the second floor, and she would visit the third floor, her friend, and we would just pull down each other's pants, and we would do our thing.
Whoa.
Right?
What?
Oh, I said kiss.
Kiss.
Not doctor.
We're talking about
oh my God,
kiss,
dude.
Will.
Oh, it's got
kissing
pornographic, bro. We have to cut that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh, we're in trouble. The FTC is going to get on our ass. All right. Here's question number 2. Last day on Earth. It's the last day on Earth. Favorite restaurant and dish. I'll go first. Gibson's lobster, steak and lobster. I'll go surf and turf at Gibson's downtown.
That's actually what I was going to say, but since you said that, I'm just going to go with Aiello's Pizza in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Coastal Flats. I'm having the pecan fish. Oh my goodness, pecan fish.
Everything with pecans.
Coastal Flats. Yeah.
Will Montez.
I would take pizza, father and son pizza.
Really? Last day, huh? Yeah. All right, third question. What were you doing the day the Challenger exploded? I was lifting weights in the gym at high school in the morning when Challenger exploded.
Yeah, I was on my way into work. I remember picking up the paper at about 6 a.m. and reading it in the office.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was in elementary school. We were in school, and it was on TV.
I think I was in high school. I don't quite remember, I think it was in high school.
You're older
we were
than me?
watching it.
I was in high school lifting weights in the morning. All right, same questions. Number 4. When the towers came down, what were you doing? I was actually finishing up loading cars in the back of our warehouse. The sales guys were about to hit the field, and they said, "Hey, did you hear that the plane accidentally hit the towers?" I'm like, "Oh, that's weird. Hey, get in the meeting." And then the rest of the day, we just watched the TV.
We were in Singapore. It was in the middle of the night for us, and I got a phone call that says you're on Alpha Alert. I had no idea what that was.
Wow.
It was battle stations is what that was. I was at home. I got a call from my mother-in-law. She says, "Hey, you got to turn on the news." I did, and I was glued to the television for the next 8 hours.
Absolutely. Well,
I drove Arlene to work, and on the way back home, I heard it on the radio, got home. I had an appointment for my asthma. I saw the second tower go down. It was interesting. But
okay.
I remember
biggest goal still work. What's the biggest goal you're still working on? Mine is a commercial building, almost like a museum that's going to house all my motorcycles and maybe a few cars. Almost like a Scooty's garage, Scooty's toy box. It's going to be called Scooty's Toy Box with a neon sign, and it's going to have some nice toys inside.
I want a 100-unit apartment building.
Nice.
Nice is right. I'm working on building my rental portfolio.
Nice.
Transform DV from racism.
Oh, big goal. Big goal. All right. Go back in time. What would you tell yourself to invest in? I would say Atari. I'd go back all the way to Atari, roll that into like the Apples and the Googles. I would start with Atari. Go back. Listen, get your parents to invest in Atari right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because I was the first kid in my neighborhood to have an Atari, and I charged 25 cents for people to come play. So, yeah, I would invest.
You were invested in an Atari.
Oh, you're thinking stocks. I would just get into real estate a lot earlier.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was part of the brew crew. We would wear Nikes, the Bruins, the first gym shoe that ever came out. We would put that swoosh everywhere. I would have made an investment on Nike.
Okay. Ever been in a fight and why? Give me one fight and why. I was always defending other people's honors. I remember getting on the bus at junior high and Greg Dempsey, actually, I think he made fun of me. I just turned around, just kept swinging, and he didn't like it.
I got into a fight with a guy because his girl looked at me.
Ooh, nice. Because you're DV. All right.
Fist fight defending my Jewishness.
Did you really? That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I have plenty of those, but one comes to mind.
Okay. Willie? Ever
I've
gotten
been
a fight?
in multiple fights, and I used to fight. I remember day camp, Mark Sarlo, and we would fight every day, and I would kick his butt every day. He was always picking on somebody, and I was the defender.
Yeah,
we
me
would
too.
go at it every single day.
I was a bully killer. All right. Biggest goal. Oh, I already do one of that. Ever been slapped or hit by a woman, and why?
Oh.
Yeah, my mother, because I used foul language.
There you go.
Yeah. Scott in New York, I dated Sanal, and she slapped me once, and it's like I looked at her like, why did you do that? Right? And we continued to date. She slapped me once again. Boy, did I slap the living daylights out of her. All right?
Wait a minute.
Now, that is politically incorrect.
That's a next week topic for sure. I'm bringing that up. But, dude, you got slapped. Why did she slap you?
I want to know if the pants were up or down.
She wanted to slap me. She thought that she can do it. And the first time I said, why would you do that? Right? And... we talked about
too
it.
long. Speed round. I just want to know I want to know why she did. I don't want to hear
there's no reason she wanted to be in control.
Your mom, because you talk back?
Because I talk back.
Yeah. I have never been slapped by a woman in a romantic relationship. My mom has hit me plenty of times, though, for sure. And I deserved every one of them.
She did yesterday, didn't she?
No, she don't. Oh, okay. All right. Last one. Any thoughts on Rush? Any final thoughts on Rush Limbaugh? He just passed away. I know we talked about it a little bit. The guy was, again, humorous. He treated politics with a lot of fun, made it fun for me to indulge in. I'll miss the guy for sure.
Yeah. I cannot imagine who is going to fill his shoes.
A bunch of people actually have to.
Yeah. Rest in peace, man. You never want to talk bad about him. Right? Rest in peace, Rush.
Yeah. I didn't like Rush, right? I didn't like the Republicans. I hated them. I felt just like Devi, and now I'm transformed. Because you know what? The only one that I was blaming is myself.
All right, good show, boys. Devi, I hope you're not too bloody over there.
No, I'm chilling, man.
He's like, I'm looking my
sounds kind of beat up.
He sounds beat up, doesn't he? You okay?
Nah.
You want a hug?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna hug you. I'm gonna hug the mic for you.
I'm good, man.
All right.
You have no idea how good I am.
All right. You just tell me, listen, by next week, I'm going to give you an assignment, all right? Those 8 categories, please tell me which one I'm in by next week. Cool? That's your assignment. We'll come back. All right, guys, thanks for joining me again. This was definitely an interesting show. Get to the BigDivideShow.com if you want to hit our mailbag. BigDivideShow.com, BigDivideShow.com. Anything else, boys?
Peace out.
Be good to each other.
I'll see you guys. Big Divide, baby. Bring it all together.
Adios.
This has been The Big Divide. Don't forget to subscribe for your weekly dose of unfiltered and unapologetic conversation.
Done and done.
And of course, share this episode with all of your friends. Well, maybe not the sensitive ones.
You apologize right now.
Do you have a question, topic, or opinion that you want to hear discussed? Go to BigDivideShow.com and tell us all about it.
Or simply look up Big Divide on Instagram or Facebook and send us a message.